colleges, of all the guys that are that were former quarterbacks, Fromm is the only guy.
But that's not. I fail to believe that. They worked out McCarron, so it's okay. It's okay. They worked out McCarron too. Here's what's happening. Here's what's happening, right? Because everyone's jumping off the ledges. Here's what's happening. If Jones can't go and Taylor can't go, Webb is going to go, but they need another quarterback in case Webb gets hurt, right? You can't.
But why Fromm?
Because that's just one of the guys. Hey, listen, I'm not the coaches, right? I don't know what they see. I don't know what they don't see. I don't know what it is about him. If they see something that, he can execute our game plan, so be it. And here's where Fromm, like Giraffe Guy, gets the benefit of the doubt. Judge and Garrett were calling things. Now, if you have somebody else calling things, does it differ anything? I've seen Mike Glennon sling it before and not be trash. Why was he only trash slinging it for us? Because he wasn't slinging it.
Yeah.
So with an offensive change and a different coach and a different play call and a whole different everything,
and
he can be average.
And he's not getting played back.
As much as we kill Mike Glennon's been around for years and he has produced on worse teams. I don't need him to go be an all-star. Just hold it down for a game.
I just remember something, Craig. He's not being brought in here because he played for the Giants last year. He's being brought in because he has ties to Dable, like he played for the Bills for a little bit.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. The Bills are the team that gave him a chance to get in the league. I was a Fromm guy in college because I loved him as a leader. Not his throwing ability, but I loved him as a leader.
Yeah, he's a college guy. He's not a pro guy. His arm's not there.
And he was a tough leader, started as a freshman, and I was 100% wrong about him. I thought his game would translate to the pros, and I couldn't have been more wrong, right? I just think that we're like retreading Fromm, and I know he played for Buffalo, but there's got to be other guys out there. Like Lewerke's got to be out there, right?
Let's add another layer to that, right? Between roster spots and no money, beggars can't be choosers, right? I think we're just working with what we got here. Who says somebody wants to come in, right? I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying there's so many moving parts we don't necessarily know. So I'm not killing Fromm, but if Fromm is QB5 for one active game, whatever.
Is there somebody in the Canadian Football League they could just fly down? Like, who's the best guy in Canadian football right now?
Listen, 99% of them are in the CFL for a reason too.
let me
call the Argonauts. We need Canada help, man.
Yeah, call them Maple Leafs.
Well, I'm going to toss this to you, Zane. Give me something that you want to rave about, something that you just saw that really made you happy, and then something that you want to rant about that's something that needs to be improved.
Sure. So the one thing I'm going to rant about that's upsetting and is kind of a bad trend is the missed tackles. They're continuing to pile on the defense. And it's not that they can't. We're falling back into this whole, I got to lay the wood. I got to get the big hit. Don't wrap it up. Forget fundamentals for a moment. Let me get that in. We'll go back last week. I'll do a little blast from the past. Ezekiel Elliott has the crease. Tay Crowder right there. Meets him. If he can meet him right there, that touchdown doesn't happen. What happens? Tay Crowder says, I'm a hit stick. It's Madden, right? I'm a hit stick. Didn't get the job done, right? He gets the touchdown. Yep. You got to wrap up. Missed tackles are piling up for everybody on the defense.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be my issue is the missed tackles. But when we're talking about Raven, guys, I'm raving about everything, baby. Glass half so full. There's so many positive. Mike Kafka, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Mike Kafka? Working with this garbage? And let's be honest, there's a lot of garbage happening, no offense. A lot of moving pieces, depth pieces, non-starters producing, right? That's play calling, that's scheming, that's film room, that's putting in time. So shout out to Mike Kafka doing crazy things. Shout out to David doing crazy. Wink Martindale, look at what we're doing with this defense. Your best run defender and your best defender is Leonard Williams. He's gone, but you're winning games. Dexter Lawrence, who a few of us have been saying for a year now, is an attacking defensive lineman. You let him attack. What does he do? Dominate. So now you change people's mentalities. You put them in the right spots. You have somebody actually game planning. There's so many kudos to go around. Jalen Smith, 1 week practice squad comes in, bam, kills it. Absolutely dominates.
Agreed.
Right? You name it, they're being put in place. Now that's part player, right? You have to go out there and execute, but that's absolutely coach saying, hey, listen, when we're in this position, here's what you have to do. In this base, here's the gaps you're finding. Here's your man. People were killing Kayvon. I saw Kayvon Thibodeau get triple teamed and still get a pressure.
It's true.
Triple teamed. Second
True.
game rookie, triple team, 3 people on him and still doing it.
They're using the
when
schemes
we're
to
talking
advantage
about-
the players.
Yeah, when we're talking about raving, there's so much good to go around. There's literally so many things you can point to. Saquon mentally being there. Forget everything else. He's just mentally there, and everything else is just falling into place. Like, he's killing it because he's mentally there. So right now, man, I don't have much to complain about. Like I said, there's no way anyone had us at 3-1, myself included, even this scrap and claw, whatever.
3-1, baby.
Way. This right now is house money. Now, I'm not stupid enough to say 3-1 is going to end up at 12-5. I'm not there, right? You could easily lose these games, but guess what? In the past, we were losing these games. Now we're finding ways to win. That's a shift. That's a difference.
Well,
That's the key point right there. That is the golden takeaway. We are finding ways to win in close games instead of blowing it.
Right.
Although, let's be real, that was very
games.
close. That last play, tell me you didn't have a heart attack. That shuffle.
In the past, that kills us. In the past, the 60-yard field goal kills us. There's been 2 games now. There's been 2 games. The defense has gone out there for at least 5 minutes with the game on the line, stopped them dead in their tracks. That's big time. Especially again when you're kind of top heavy. The roster's top heavy, right? You don't have elite superstars. You have some really dominant players or good players, and then everything is just kind of a mix and match and a rookie here and a UDF here and a fifth here. So again, I come back to house money, meaning we shouldn't be 3-1. I'm happy to be 3-1, but finding ways to win, that's the difference of that's the coach impact right now. Finding those guys being confident enough that if they make a mistake. What happened last week that I was pissed off at? You get a great stop on 3rd and 20, and then you give up the screen pass for 3rd and 23. And I'm like, come on, are you kidding me? But how do you respond? How do you? I mean, that kills us in a previous game, right? That string kills us. But what's the next response? Azeez Ojulari strip sack, Kayvon drops on it, boom, now you recover a fumble. Completely different shift in the way things are breaking our way. Some of it luck. Mostly now I feel better preparation. So my raving is everything's all good.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I'm going to play along. Usually I just hand this off to you guys, but I'm going to play along a little bit if you don't mind. I want to rave about Richie James. I mean, Richie James was a bubble guy. Like I went to camp and he dropped everything that they threw to him. Like, I thought he was, I knew he was a special teams guy, but I didn't think he was going to make the team because they had Bachman that returned kicks, or just he has been Shepard, basically. He has become Sterling Shepard. He's the go-to guy for Jones. I know we're not throwing the rock a lot right now. That will come. But when we are throwing it, Richie James is just coming up big, every single time. Like, tough catches over the middle. Really, really impressed with, whether it's the work ethic, whether it's knowing the playbook, whether he's gelling with Jones, whatever he's doing, it should be, not only admired, but, acknowledged that this guy literally was a bubble guy, whether he was going to make the team. He's the leading receiver on the team. Now, again, our passing game is not great, so we can't, put the feather in the cap just quite yet, but his play has been just fantastic. Guy's always got a smile on his face. So looks like a really cool cat. And so I got to give him a shout out because week in and week out, he's making the big catch. The rant I'm going to make is going to cut you deep because I don't know what else to say because I can't quite wrap my arms around it. Maybe you guys can help me. Another slew of injuries to the Giants. We are now leading the NFL in injuries for the 4 out of the last 5, 3 out of the last 4. I don't know if it's the turf. I don't know what's going on, but how do we sit here week in and week out and say, Robinson, Galladay, Shepard, Jones, Barkley, Love, we just have some type of voodoo going on, some type of, and listen, it's interesting how people in the stadium are talking about the turf. They're looking up who covers. I know, Mike, you tweeted a bunch of companies, other turf companies last week and what teams use grass. I got to just rant on it because it's ridiculous How are the New York Giants lead the NFL in injuries for the third time in 4 years? Like, they're like, it just can't be. You know what I mean? Like guys just drop. Shepard's jogging and pops an ACL. Now I understand Love had a concussion. Yeah, I can't blame that on the turf. But just in general, guys, wondering what your thoughts are, because whether it's the turf or not the turf, how do we week in and week out have all these injuries? And how do guys like Wan'Dale Robinson, who had one catch, one injury, never saw him again? So, like, is this that these guys are being brought back too slow? They're being babied, they're being pampered, like, they're a commodity. So maybe they've been told to take it slow with the players. Like, give me some feedback here, because as much as, like, to Zane's point, tons of really good things going on. But if you want to be a 6, 7, 8 win team, you need bodies, and we're signing guys that have been cut and off practice squads. And now we've got a little bit of a relationship with, or a cup of coffee, I'd like to say, with Jalen Smith. So he's not new to the franchise. But guys, how does this, Zane, how does this happen? It's not a fluke anymore.
So it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, right? Some of your outliers are like concussions, right? We can just throw those out right immediately. Those anytime, any place, those are gone. When it comes to like a Wan'Dale Robinson, man, I'm always worried about these tiny guys no matter what. People worried about Darren. That's how Darren Sproles becomes a late rounder. That's how all these little guys where you go, oh, they have electricity, but can they handle it? So like Wan'Dale to me is like any other small guy. I worry about him. Him getting hurt, not a big surprise. And then you have some repeats, right? We signed Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay's been hurt since before he's been signed, and he's constantly hurt. So I don't know how much that's turf, and that's how much is just your body, right? For certain players, of course, right? And then the secondary thing is, we brought this up before previously. I'll bring it up again. When McAdoo took over, I keep forgetting the guy. He brought over that strength and conditioning guy from Notre Dame, Aaron Wellman, I don't remember who it was. From the moment he was signed, there was a 2-year period where we were relatively extremely healthy. And I remember he redid all the strength and conditioning. He then disappears and everything restarts again. I don't know what happened in between. There was something good that happened with said guy. Said guy left. Everything went back to being troubled before said guy came in. I don't know what the conditioning program is per se. And again, some of it is turf-based, something's not. Like the Shep one is just a freak injury, man. I'm sorry. To me, that might be just body overcompensation, right? Coming back in 7 months, I'm feeling healthy, I'm feeling good, but your body's overcompensating. Because literally, the turf monster didn't get him. He's literally jogging, bro. Like, to me, it's so unfortunate, some of these. And then, again, more one-offs. Remember Saquon's original injury? That was in Chicago. It wasn't here. He got hurt in Chicago. So, again, some are one-offs. As far as turf related, the other one is more the fact that, yeah, maybe we're just snake bitten, man. Maybe we don't have the right program for conditioning where we're taking care of the soft tissue, because we're not getting broken bones, right? It's all just mostly soft tissue that's taking place.
It's definitely soft tissue.
Whatever taking place within the program, and none of us are privy to it because we're not inside. We know people that might give us some hints about how things are or are not, or whatever the case may be. But I don't know what their conditioning program is per se. I'm sure turf plays a part. Grass is better anyway. We all know this, all right? I'm sure turf absolutely plays a part. Is it the end-all, be-all? No, not whatsoever. And then, again, we just have a history of guys who have injuries. Kadarius Toney has a college injury history. He's still injured all the time. Kenny Galladay was hurt before we signed him. He's still hurt all the time. Shep has had a history of injuries being with the Giants. He continues to have injuries. Some of these that if you just go back historically, they are what they are.
Love it. You nailed that. Spartan, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so I did a little bit of homework on the company that provides the turf to the Meadowlands over this past week. And, what triggered me to do this was when Saquon was interviewed, and he's usually shy to say anything controversial, but like you could tell when he was asked about the turf, he like hesitates. He's like, well, I really don't like turf. And I'm like, and then another player, I think Odell talked about it. I looked at the company that provides Meadowlands turf, they are subject to so many lawsuits right now from high schools and just really across the nation for what people are citing as selling a bad product. And I want everybody to know one thing. They don't just do the turf for the Meadowlands. They're also doing the turf for the Timex Center. And we get a lot of injuries in preseason, a lot of questionable, weird ones. Look, teams get injured. Teams get hurt. When the Giants and the Jets, the most injured team in the NFL for the past decade, for the 2010s, and the stadium opened in 2010, I say to myself, look, that probably has something to do with the turf quality. I have no doubt about it. Again, Zane, I mean, you're absolutely right. There's things that they're doing. It's like, look, if you're going to lower your head and like Tyrod did, that's not preventable by the turf. That's preventable by decision making, right? But I do think that the turf has a larger explanation for why the Giants are more injured than other teams comparatively. So look, I am hoping, and I see somebody in the comments bringing it up, that at the end of the year or end of next year, there's a contract that expires and they can go back to grass. I hope they consider it. I hope they figure out a way. I mean, I don't know any teams that went from turf to grass, but guys, I want you to know one thing. In a lot of European countries, turf is banned. They do not play soccer very often on turf surfaces because of the dangers. I think the Giants need to go back to grass so that they can minimize the amount of injuries that are occurring so that they can stay and maintain a more competitive team.
And while we're out here, I'm calling out the Jets too, man. Talk to your owner. It's not just us.
Absolutely.
It's not just us. Jets fans, get on your owner. I'm not trying to look for your injuries either. As fans, we're all in this together. Your guys are getting hurt too, and you don't want that. And I don't want that for you.
I'll protest with them. I'll get the picket signs and everything. Giants, Jets unite. We go to the Timex Center. We go to the Giants Stadium, the Meadowlands. Sorry, sound cocky like we own the place. We kind of do, but I'll be there with you guys.
All right, I'll take a drive to Florham Park. I don't care. Like, the point is, get that field fixed, right? Because they're partners in this. They're paying too. It's not our. And you know what? I'll tell John Mara, foot the bill and just kick them out. Then whatever, take the stadium back.
Let's
give it. Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
No.
Early 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, when I was playing high school ball, the turf, when you went to it, like I played on this crappy grass surface, but it was crappy just because it didn't look good. Turf looked so cool at the time. But looking back now, the only time I ever got a foot injury was actually on turf, and it got planted in a weird way that I feel like my foot would have dug into the ground. I have experienced that firsthand where it's like all of a sudden the coolness of the appeal, really, you realize this just isn't natural, literally.
I wanted to give agreed. Listen, there's some when my son plays lacrosse, I love turf because it's fast. It's easy to scoop the ball up. Football, I love grass, certain grass surfaces. I do love how fast the game is, on turf, but, I know New Orleans uses the turf, and I know Minnesota uses the same turf company. There's definitely something going on. And
But now, is there a difference between indoor and outdoor turf? And now you got two domes versus outdoor. What's the effect?
That's interesting. The Saints are very injured. They are a very injured team over the last 10 years. I don't think the Vikings are, though.
Overall, I just wanted to rant that up because, it's really hard, to constantly be picking up someone else's trash to put on the roster to expect these guys to start. You know what I mean? Like, we were already thin at corner, and here we are, like, right back to square one. And I can't understand why they don't, put this under the magnifying glass. I don't care that if it passes the NFL benchmarks. It's an issue. Anyway, let's move on. I just wanted to throw that out there. Thanks for playing along with me, boys. Let's talk about the heavy hitter in the room. And that's one Daniel Dimes Jones. Guys, the guy continues to ball. Okay, he is doing everything he possibly can to help this team win, carry it on his back in any way. And for anyone who hates Jones, all you haters, Spartan, you're a little bit of a hater. Let's just say that I can't tell you any clearer than this. I don't know if he's the guy. Probably not the guy. But, here's the thing. You're not getting – listen, if you had Mahomes on this team, Mahomes has got no one to throw to. You know what I'm saying? Like Galladay's not playing, and Tony's not playing, and Shepard is hurt, right? You know, I don't.
I got counters to that, and again, I'm not pro.
And you can, and you can counter all you want.
I don't
I'm
love
only
him.
making the point that Daniel Jones is making plays. Okay,
Agreed.
we have
Agreed.
never
Yeah,
in the history of the New York Giants, we have never had a quarterback. I shouldn't say history dating all the way back to Fran Tarkenton, with a quarterback who ran 2 20-yard touchdowns in. Okay, like this guy is doing everything he can. Does he have the field vision that Mahomes has? Does he have the escapability that Allen has? Does he have the quick releases Roger has? None of that stuff. But right now, he's saying, I can win games. Just keep adding pieces on. I can win games. And he's doing it. And get at 3-1, I'm happy he's here. I love the fact that he's rugged or whatever you want to call it, gutsy. You know, I'm happy with Jones. Not happy with throwing for 100 yards. Okay? But I'm sorry. I don't care. You're stone cold crazy if you think that, you know, he's got anyone really talented around him. Like he's playing with
He's got one guy.
And who's that?
Saquon. That's it.
Oh, no. I was saying at the wide receiver position.
No.
Like he's got no one to throw the ball to. There's no separation, guys. You can hate Jones all you want. There's no one open. I mean, like, okay, there's like no one to throw the ball to. Okay, I'll even go this. I'm going to pull it out on the all-22. I'm going to blow it up for you guys. He throws it past to Kenny Golladay. It's probably like a 15 to 18-yard pass. He catches the ball, and he immediately falls down, and there is no one around him for 5 yards. He literally caught the ball and just crashed, went right down. The play got called back for holding, so it didn't matter. The point is that all he did was catch it and go to the ground. It's like running out of bounds, like, 10 yards earlier before someone hits you. The guy doesn't want to be here. And I'll say it again, $72 million. I could go to 71 third world countries and give them each $1 million, and I could cure poverty, and I can cure I could feed third world countries clean drinking water and still be
careful what we say in this program, Craig.
What's that?
No.
I'm just saying, like, it's enough. It's enough with Kenny Golladay. There's not one excuse you can make for him. Tony, no excuses. This ship has sailed, people. Jones is doing what he can to win games.
I won't make an excuse for Tony, but until I can see him on the field consistently, I just got nothing to go off of.
You're not going to see him on the field consistently.
I feel like you just
not with that attitude, Craig. You better turn that, buddy.
Hey, come on, Craig. A little positivity now.
Tony sucks. Go ahead. Tell me about Jones.
Games left. Like, let me get something before he gets cut or traded or waived.
I feel like he gets to Thursday and he's like, nah, I can't play. Like, that's all he says. He's just sitting there just smoking a joint. He's like, nah, I can't.
I love Kadarius Tony the carrot.
Forget Tony. Wait, hold on. Forget Tony. Keep that on the back burner. Sport and tell me about Jones. Because you're a Jones hater. So give me the Jones back up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, your Mahomes comment, I'm just going to say this. You're right. Mahomes would not do as good on the Giants as he would with the Chiefs. Mahomes would still elevate the team more than Jones. But I just wanted to keep that, at 100.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'd be loving throwing to David Sills. But
no. It would look like Mahomes in the Super Bowl against the Buccaneers. You know what I'm saying?
Mahomes would make David Sills look like Plaxico Burress. Move on.
Yeah, all right. Sills sucks too. We got to stop pretending like that he might be good.
He doesn't suck. He's just wide receiver 5 playing wide receiver 1, and that's not his fault.
Zane, that is a phenomenal point right there. I mean, I'm seriously. That was. You know what? I'm gonna post that later because it's not Sills' fault.
It isn't. He's literally a guy who should.
You guys are hating on a dude.
He should be
your receiver.
He's literally your 6-foot+ guy that might comes in for a red zone target or maybe to block on a certain play because he's not your 1 or your 2 or your 3. And Darius Slayton, who's moved down to a 4, still can't catch jack. You know what? So he's just playing out of position. So I'm not mad at him. I'm not expecting anything from him. The fact that he catches it, I'm just like, oh my God, he made that play?
Jones, tell me about Jones, Spartan.
All right. Jones did everything. He executed every assignment this past week to a T. And he is probably one of the best quarter. I mean, he's top 3 in the league at running downfield and making plays with his legs. When that hole opens up, nobody's catching him. And I feel like teams are constantly making that mistake with defense. They don't put a spy on Jones until the second half. This has happened at least 3 times this year. But yeah, look, I mean, Jones, did he get put to the test? He only had 71 yards, whatever. But everything that he had to do, he did. He killed it to a T this past week. No crazy plays, but let's be real. They're not sending the wide receivers out for 40-yard passes. They can't trust these guys.
They're doing their best not to spy Jones because Barkley is killing them right now, and that's why that isn't working. Now, if Barkley was struggling or they couldn't run block, Jones wouldn't be doing any of this. But right now, those 2 pieces, literally, 3. The O-line's blocking is phenomenal. Shout out to them. Their run blocking is phenomenal. So that, coupled with a healthy Barkley and Jones, is what's driving this. You remove any of those 1-3 pieces, Jones isn't doing what he's doing.
No.
On the ground, strictly on the ground.
Let's give a shout out to Joe D's got the quote of the day. Let's not forget that the leading receiver this week is Bellinger with 3 catches. Our boy.
Tight ends are killing it too right now. Tanner Hudson and Daniel Bellinger are killing it in their assignments right now.
Yep. These guys are blocking. They're there for Daniel Jones for dump offs. I mean, last week Bellinger had a 21-yard reception. So those guys are heating up, and I think Kafka realizes that crap. We don't have anybody to throw the ball to. Let's start working these tight ends.
And yet we're still winning.
That's it, man.
Finding ways. That's what I mean. Shout out once again to Mike Kafka. Killing it.
Look, what Kafka has just executed with is finding, it's not like Jones has been perfect this season, but he's found the playbook that makes the most sense for Jones. Roll out, look around. If nobody's there, go run. You got all the field.
It's the play designs. I think Baldy brought it up on a play where they did a play with a rollout with Barkley, and they noticed that the defense was completely flat-footed. Didn't care. They did it again. The defense did it again. So the third time they called that bootleg where he ran it for a touchdown just because they anticipated that they would be flat-footed, and they would. So, I mean, again, this is the difference between professional coaching, paying attention even within the game. They're making adjustments. This isn't just, here's my game plan, we're just going to get there. It's make adjustments. What are you still seeing? What are they doing differently? We haven't seen coaching, literally, no joke, in what feels like a decade. Like actual coaching.
It's true.
Game planning.
Gotta put this comment up here on the screen, and it says Spartan is a DJ hater. Yes,
Spartan can be at times a DJ hater.
I'm a DJ realist, is what I like to call it. A DJ realist.
I am DJ indifferent because, respectfully, I do not care who it is.
So I'm gonna say this, guys, and we'll move on to the next subject about Jones because I got a couple debates this week, and it's a bigger. It's a bigger pie. We're not just going to be able to slice and dice it up and get an answer right now. But here's what I want a lot of folks out there to think about, because I think they're dismissing something. Coaches get paid to win. Okay. They get a contract, they get a period of time. And like Spartan and I know about Mel Tucker, the coach of Michigan State. He had a good year last year, won a Peach Bowl. Right? These guys want to build off the momentum from the year before. So whatever Dable and Kafka and Shane do this year, they want to build on it for next year. Okay? That goes with any team, not just our team. With any team, you want to build off of what you have. There is no chance that the New York Giants have to get a new quarterback, running back, 2 wide receivers, right guard, and center all in 1 year. So I want you to think about what I'm saying. They're not going to go into 2023, and they're not going to get rid of basically everyone except the tackles and
Well, you can't
the
get rid of
guard.
Lewinsky. You signed him on a 3-year deal. It's just year one. So
I'm sorry.
your right guard is fine. Glowinski's not going anywhere. It's just on year 1 of 3.
No, I'm sorry. Left guard if Lemieux comes back or if Azudo comes back,
Right.
and he swings to play right.
Gotcha.
I apologize, my bad.
No worries.
But the overarching point is like you have holes to fill. You don't want to make more holes. Okay. Now, some of them you have to make hard decisions, and some guys will be here and some guys won't. But I want everyone just to, at least before they go half cocked on on Twitter, like just think about from a philosophy standpoint. They have to like fight the battles they can win. So some guys are going to be here because it's not the right time to get rid of them. I don't know if that's Jones or Barkley. I don't know if that's Lemieux or Bredesen or I don't know who it is. But I do know that they're going to want to build off of this body of work from this year.
Of course.
If you have to bring in a new QB, a new running back, 2 wide receivers, a guard, left, right, don't matter, but a guard and a center, you are basically replacing 7 to 9 positions on the offense. So now your offense is right back to square one, square zero, whatever you want to call it, and you're not going to improve from year to year by starting. So some of those guys that you don't want, that you say are trash, there's a good chance that they come back because the Giants feel that, hey, if I get rid of them, I'm only creating a deeper hole. What do you guys think?
Of course, it's chess, not checkers, right? So, we're one off-season in, and one off-season was a lot of trimming of fat and a lot of replacing and a lot of scraping down. And year 2 is going to be now I have some money, and now I have to use that money plus continue of year 1. And year 3 is, it's a process now, right? It should be an absolute process. So, in that point, I don't expect them to gut everything because you can't. You still need bodies. You still need people. You still need system. You still need all these things. So I don't expect everybody to be gone. But like I said, there's going to be hard decisions. What happens with Daniel Jones? I have no idea. Is he probably gone? Probably. Is he 100% gone? No. Are we going to 100% re-sign Barkley? I don't know. Should we? Probably. The way he's playing? Probably. Will you? I don't know what this regime values a running back at. Regardless of how I don't know. There's unanswered questions because we don't know, right? So there's pieces that are question marks. There are pieces that fans are going to be like, oh, get rid of it. It's easy to replace. No, it isn't. There's pieces fans are going to be like, yeah, keep them. It's fine. Also, no, it isn't. So we're going to see how this goes. Right now, let's enjoy the moment. Let's see how they actually operate in offseason 2. I'm trying not to get past this season, but I'm so interested in next offseason because I'm so impressed with what they've been able to do with this offseason that I'm actually excited for the next one. Because now I'm curious about that level of scouting and talent they're bringing in. I'm curious what they're going to build with inside the draft and outside of it. So, again, I'm not moving on. They've got my attention. Usually off seasons aren't exciting for us, right? It's just like maybe there's money, hope and a prayer. But now it's like, okay, we're actually going to be building something this offseason. It's going to be smart management.
They're building the cornerstones. And I just want to jump on your point real quick. I was in North Jersey today for a meeting, and I happened to see a newspaper, again, like I didn't know they printed those things anymore, but I saw a newspaper, in a Wawa, and I flipped it over and I opened it up and saw, the Giant beat reporters in there with their takes, today. And I don't remember the exact words, but it was basically painting the picture of calmness that the team, with the leadership of, Barkley and Jones and Thomas and McKinney, like they're not frantic. And they're not scattered, that they're basically on a path of workman-like attitudes, like coming in, build it, if it breaks, we come back and we build it. And then if it doesn't break, we put another brick on. And it was basically painting the picture that the Giants are just all bought in with Kafka and Dable, and they're all rowing in the same direction. And there's no, like, remember when we had Colombo here, he was like ripping Andrew Thomas down and building him up and ripping him down, and people were killing Jones and new playbooks, and like there's not a lot of upheaval on the team. So your point is well taken that it is exciting because no one's frantic. You know what I mean? Like, we're not solving new problems every week. We're just kind of building. So
there's no fire. We're not hearing fires coming out of the locker room. We're not hearing little peeps of it could be this, it could be, but what about? We're talking about a coach's presser for 8 minutes about his job or whatever the hell that was, right? We're not getting those tidbits. We're getting good professional level football on all accounts, and we're getting professional management and professional coaching. But on top of that, genuine. It's not like they're playing games and being robots.
It's not that car salesman crap anymore. They're actually going out there and coaching, like Joe Judge.
Dave and Shane will put you in your place. It's hilarious. They will absolutely put you right back in your place. So that's what I'm saying. But it's in a respectful manner. You give it, you get it. So there's absolute excitement, but a complete utter overhaul is impossible. I wouldn't say impossible. It just doesn't make sense, like Craig said. But let's also take a look at what I didn't think was going to happen this offseason. They had, 7 or 8 picks, and we thought they were going to try to minimize to 5. They went and messed around and had 11 draft picks. So I don't know if they go back in the draft heavy and just try to keep accumulating, building their kind of guys. So I don't know. I don't know.
But Craig, remember something now. Let's just talk about the possibilities with Jones here, right? They're probably not. I mean, the only reason they would move on from him this offseason is if is the contract, right? He's going to have to be re-signed, and they're going to have to evaluate what's worth it at this point because they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. If the Giants move on from Jones for whatever reason in the future, and it's past the contract point, it will be because everything else needs to be set, and then they kind of look at it like the Rams did with Goff, and they say, you know what, we got a good quarterback, but we want to win a Super Bowl. We got to elevate that. We got to get that next level up.
They went to a bowl with Goff, though. They went to the bowl with Goff, and then
we can't roll that up in here. We cannot roll that up in here.
Absolutely can roll that
up.
No,
you can't. They were already a playoff team. They went to the Super Bowl with Goff.
They were one championship team once they got Stafford because he elevated.
They were one player.
Sure.
One player away. They were one player away. We're not one player away.
No, I know that. What I'm trying to say here is if the Giants were a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl team, then they could easily move on from Jones. Jones is probably the only thing that's keeping a heartbeat in the offense right now, aside from Andrew Thomas and aside from Saquon Barkley. So I don't really want to get rid of him just to get rid of him. But eventually, yes, I would like improved quarterback play. And I don't want them, like, if they don't feel like this offseason's draft has a good quarterback, then skip on it. Figure out a way to keep Jones. Hopefully he's not going to take up too much money and keep him around until that time comes. Because if we have a few more Pro Bowlers on offense, no more holes, and then and we're a set team.
I don't see a Daniel Jones discount happening unless there's like 0 offers out there, and I'm pretty sure a team would be willing to give him a little bit of scratch. Because you know what, he's putting on his resume too, and it's not the worst resume we're seeing out there. So for all the QBR nerds, some people live and die by QBR. Guess who had the highest QBR of Week 4? Daniel Jones.
True.
So there's pluses and minuses on how you want to evaluate, right? And I'll leave all the stats up to the nerds, and you can pick and choose whichever one you want. I'm said nerd too, but everything's within context. I'm saying he's putting up a good enough body of work to be a starting quarterback, which will come with a dollar sign, a set standard dollar sign that everyone has to by industry buy into. And if they feel like that number's too high, this is why you signed a 2-year Tyrod. Him staying healthy or not, there's a reason.
I'm worried, man. That feels like regression right there. Tyrod Taylor's not looking like Daniel Jones. I thought he would have played better. Jones is playing better than Tyrod.
Yeah, well, let's wrap up the Jones thing. You nailed it in the opening segment. It's like putting his head down just showed irresponsibility. I mean, that's not what your job is. Your job is to be the backup and be a solid option. Sticking your head down and trying to run over a safety or a corner, like your linebacker, it just screams stupid. Like, I mean, give me a break. Like He literally is in the game because the starting quarterback's hurt. You got to do everything possible, to make a play, but to be safe, live to play another down. So Tyrod's not the answer. He never was the answer.
Whether he is or isn't, you have to accept that 2-year deal is not a 2-year deal by a fluke. It's got to be planned. Otherwise, it would have been a 1-year deal. He's here.
No, he wouldn't. But he wouldn't.
Let's face Jones. I mean, Jones. Even if he could,
time out. Why was he given a 2-year deal, Craig? Why is it a 2-year deal?
Because he wasn't coming for 1 year. Nobody would come for 1 year.
Why wouldn't he? He signed 1-year deals before. Why was
all the time? Yeah.
Because the whole reason to be here for 2 years is for him financially to make sure, okay, I'm going to make a move. If you're going to commit to me, I don't care who the first string quarterback is, or if I have a chance to, but I'm not going for 1 year because this is going to be the end of my. I
promise you, if it was a 1-year deal, he would have took it too.
Nah, I don't see it. That's okay. We can agree to disagree. He's not a good quarterback.
Right, you're wrong. Let's move on.
Or what was his alternative options?
His alternative options, you wouldn't know. They signed them as soon as they signed them.
Right, well then, let's move on.
Yeah. You're never that's the thing. You guys hate being wrong, but you didn't know what his option was because they signed
him. Neither do you, though. But neither do you. We're in the same boat here. Neither did you.
The difference is that but the point is that what you're dismissing is how long was he on the market for? Exactly.
I remember yesterday.
You don't have anything to say because he wasn't on the market.
Google's free. Let me go check the market. I don't know how long before he signed.
That's a Google question.
Yes, but I'm aware that
I'm being dismissive in the same sense you are. Now you're being a hypocrite. I don't know if it's a 1 or 2 year deal, but you knew it was a 2 year because that's the only reason. How does that work?
You said why do I think it was a 2 year over a 1 year deal?
No. Yeah. Why? I asked you generally. Why would he sign? Why would they offer him a 2 year deal if there wasn't more of a plan than 1 year? It doesn't make sense. Why would they offer a 2 year deal?
Because the player didn't want. He's not going to leave to go to a new place.
You signed a 1 year deal with the Texans
because that's what all quarterbacks do. That's what they always negotiate. They're always negotiating a multi-year deal.
How many quarterbacks get one? How many backup quarterbacks get 1 year deal team to team? How many years get 1 year deal team to team? Go look it up. A ton. They literally hop off of one
cornerbacks, washed up wide receivers. Quarterbacks don't do it. They're in the power seat. Quarterbacks
prone constantly.
Quarterback. It's fine. We can agree to disagree. Tyrod Taylor was off the market as the ink was still wet on the contract. They brought him in because they said, I'm going to the Giants. You're coming here. You're going to get a 2 year deal. Please come here, and we're going to take care of you.
But we're all in agreement here. The difference is I think he's given a 2 year deal because in year 2, he is your replacement. That is what I am saying.
The dude sucks. Stop. The guy's the journeyman.
Oh, yeah, but no. That was totally the idea there. If Jones doesn't come back, then they're going to go with Tyrod in case they don't have a quarterback.
They're not going with Tyrod, guys. They're not going with Tyrod. He can't play. Stop it. Stop it. The guy's not a good quarterback.
He's a backup.
Yeah, no, he was a bridge quarterback. That's all he is. There's a difference between a bridge and a backup.
He can't play, man. He's there. It's like bringing in Teddy Bridgewater, right? You bring him in.
What does that mean? What does that? Teddy.
I'm trying to tell you what it means. I'm trying to tell you.
All right, man. Sure.
Good. All right. Zane is now muted. All right, let's move on. I don't care what they say. They don't care what I have to say. So let's move on to wide receivers. They're bad. They should go. They're terrible. What do you guys think about the wide receivers? They're great. We're overestimating their value. We're underestimating their value. I'm sure Spartan loves Tony, and I'm sure the Belt guy loves Galladay. But, the rest of the
Tony and Galladay fans. I wear his jersey.
But whether you like him or you don't, the proof is that the fact that these guys can't stay healthy. We've already known that Tony's already had the conversations around the player has been that he didn't know the playbook last year. He got hurt in a walkthrough.
That one blows me. How you go from limited to DNP in a walkthrough? I still think about that one at night. What happened?
Maybe he loves getting paid millions of dollars and just was like, oh, I snapped my knee. Oh no, and just like does not care one bit about.
He doesn't come across as that kind of a guy. I don't get that from him, that he hates football or he's lazy or he's that. I don't necessarily get that from him. Now the
opportunistic.
Well, that's okay. Whether he's what? Remember a few years ago? I think not a few years ago. Sorry, this was that Super Bowl. Remember when Justin Tuck had all these nagging injuries and Coughlin sat him down? And he's like, "Yo, bro, just nut up at this point. Yes, it hurts. Shut up and go play. You're not dying." More or less, that was the summary, right? And even Justin Tuck said it. I had these nagging injuries and I didn't feel like playing, and I was fighting through practice. And Coughlin called me and he was like, "Look, man, you're a leader. Yes, it hurts. You're better than this. Just get on the field and do it." And he was like, fine. He nutted up and he did it. Super Bowl, cool, all that. I feel like this is kind of the same thing where he could, but he's not. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like
absolutely.
That's kind of the place he is, where he's maybe a little bit more risk management. Like, I'm not willing to this.
His career is just in purgatory. It's just like
it really is. It really. That's my thing. I'm not fully out on him just because I wish I'd gotten a little bit more to be fully out on him, right? I'm a little bit indifferent just because he's not even playing. I'm absolutely out on him when it comes to the question of availability. I feel like he's going to get either cut for a sixth or traded or something just because he's just not on the field.
And I'm not really sure a lot of people are going to put any faith or stock into the body of work because it's really only 4 games.
Yeah, there isn't. Right, 100%. There is none.
So like there's a very – it's kind of like on a quarterback. Guy comes in, and he doesn't prove himself, and his stock drops. The stock, like we want to like him because he was a first-round pick. We saw him, produce in 2 games. We all got gaga over it. But the stock is dropped. We can't continue to support a guy who can't find his way on the field. There's no possible way that, we continue to give him these opportunities, and he can't figure out how to get on the field. To your point, Zane, is at some point, you either want to get on and you fight through the nagging injuries, but it's not just the injuries. It's the cleats. It's the, I don't know. You guys brought up the fact that he had COVID back-to-back weeks or something crazy last year, or back-to-back months. You guys brought up that he had gotten COVID in the same year. And then and then he had cleat issues, and then he had playbook issues, and then he got suspended or thrown out of a game. The body of work isn't great. I don't know how long you have to have patience with a guy when it doesn't seem to be reciprocated. Like, hey, I got a team depending on me. I got to do whatever it takes to succeed. To Mike's point, it almost seems like I could, but I don't really want to. So where do you go from here when you've got your number 1 and your number 2 basically subscribe to being, I don't know, what was the word you used? Nut up?
Just nut up, man.
Both our number 1 and our number 2s, they're not engaged at the level we need them to be.
So Galladay's gone, man. We all know that. He's as humanly gone as one can be gone, and I don't even think the salary cap ramification even matters to anybody at this point. And I'm gonna bring this up again because people killed me for it during the summer. I said that the Kenny Galladay contract was going to be worse than the Nate Solder contract. I told you so. Contract is way worse than Nate Solder.
It's not even worth arguing. They're both in a hole.
No, man. At least one guy was on the field. He was just old and past his time, but he was trying. This guy's just out. He's just literally out.
And remember, Solder really was done. They called him back and said, "Hey, we need help. Can you please come back?" He wasn't in shape. He had lost weight.
Yeah, but at least he came back and tried. This guy's just literally out. At least he was trying, right? So that's one part. Second part is, he's going to be gone. There's been reports that the Giants have been willing to eat salary to get rid of him, and still nobody's biting. So he's just gone at this point.
Yeah. So where do the Giants go, Spartan, from here with wide receivers? I'm assuming that Kafka's looking what's out there. I don't have I'm not giving anyone a long-term contract, so we don't have the money, as Zane alluded to earlier, that there's not a lot of money. So why not kick the tires on a guy like Fuller Why not kick the tires? Look, as I mentioned earlier, people don't understand that Cole Beasley is on the practice squad. I know, of course, he played for Tampa Bay, but he gets called up on a day up call up. He plays, he gets put right back down. You can still sign him to your active roster. So if the Giants signed Cole Beasley, he'd have to be signed to the 53. He cannot be signed to go to practice squad So, Beasley's familiar with Dable. Fuller is out there. Hilton is out there. Like, why not kick some tires on a couple of these guys?
T.Y. Hilton might be a guy you want to look at. My thing with Beasley is, do we need another slot guy? Shep's out now. Richie James is playing outside, right?
They put him. I've seen him both.
James has been moved around, so I guess that part's indifferent. My only thing with Will Fuller is Will Fuller gets hurt after one game every time because he's just straight lightning speed and he pulls a hammy. Love him, deep threat, but he gets hurt a lot.
Do they need to look at something here, or do we just tank it up and say it's Sills and James and Slayton?
If there's any opportunities that come across, they can definitely explore it. But I mean,
they just signed that. Who was that kid they signed from the SEC? Who was like the leader, Polk?
Polk,
yeah. They signed another guy. They're making little moves because I think those are more cost-effective moves to make.
Yeah,
I don't think they're looking to bring in like the 30, 32-year-old vet who could be. I don't know if that doesn't seem to be the MO on offense. That seems to be the MO on defense. And maybe offensive line, but not the skill position. We haven't seen that take place on the skill position so much yet.
Adam says no on Will Fuller. Definitely he is injured. He is an injury.
Talent and speed, but he literally gets hurt after one game every time.
Yeah, he is a little fragile, and
who he's like? Who's that guy we just signed? Remember we had that deep threat, and he got hurt after like one catch.
John
Ross. He's like John Ross.
Yeah.
Same exact thing. Another John Ross flower. He'll tease you for a game. You're like, oh, we should throw it to him more. And then you're like, oh, well, he's on the sideline, so we can't because he's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call it? I'm a little worried. Like I said,
Marcus Johnson. They're making these little moves. Again, they're not big moves. They're not the names people are going to recognize necessarily because they're not vets or free agents. They're like UDFs or those kind of things. But they're making little incremental movements. And they seem to be happy because I guess it's either fitting game planning or like the mold of or set makeup of whatever, right? I don't know the makeup of these other guys. I mean, heck, Antonio Brown's out there. I'm not touching that. There's people out there that you're just not touching regardless.
Let's talk about Barkley. Spartan. I know everybody's happy with Barkley. I'm going to keep going back to Zane's point about Sills. It's just such a great point. You can't blame Barkley for being drafted where he was drafted. Yep. He's the face of the franchise, and I've never seen him run with lowering his pad level like he is now. I've never seen him hit a hole as fast as he is right now. His speed looks fantastic. His field vision looks great. I don't know. I feel like, again, back to the do we need more holes thing? Like, yes, we could find backs, but let me go back to the comments here. Someone put something, maybe it was
I
Mark.
tweeted it just the other day. And look, I've done a bit of a 180 myself coming into this season because I did not expect Saquon Barkley to have this good of a year. I didn't think he would be able to recover from the injuries. And seeing him elevate this team, Giants fans, I get it. The positional value of a running back isn't really there anymore. The value that Saquon Barkley brings, though, is immense. We'd be 1-3 if we're lucky right now if we had an average running back in there instead of Saquon.
I think we might be 0 for.
We might be 0 for 4.
You might be 0 for.
And people have to consider that. Like, look, if we get rid of Saquon, sure, we got money. I guess the Giants can figure out things to do, whatever. They better figure out who's going to be a playmaker for the team next year, like Saquon was, because he's going to be missed. I mean, let's say the Giants have Jones or they move on from Jones, whoever the quarterback is next year. If they don't have a wide receiver one, like a legit one, and they're losing, without Saquon, we're going to go right back to the 2021 offense that we had.
That's why I asked you guys, because, again, I keep coming back to the same thing. I'm kind of killing it by now is how many holes are we trying to fill compared to how many holes we're going to create?
Right. Don't get rid of talent. Fill the holes that are already existing with talent. Don't get rid of the talent to try to give more future value.
I
But
want
I would
to.
say this: the biggest
It's not
concern.
necessarily filling holes as much as I would say an overhaul, right? You have some talent in the wide receiver room, again, at position 4 and 5. Now you look at 1, 2, and 3. So you need to more or less overhaul a room. And you, believe it or not, in a draft, you can pick up 2 guys and dramatically change that.
Totally.
Oh, agreed, 100%, Zane. Like, my thought is that, like, if you don't have a quarterback and a running back and a left guard, and
Yeah, because it's got to be a priority, right? You can't do it all. You absolutely can't do it all.
exactly.
So,
So and people think like I'm like super ultra pro Jones. All I'm saying is like, because what the topic is Barkley is like somebody got all. I mean, the guy was a complete ass.
I've dealt with a couple this past week on him. I have. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, hold that thought. Just the fact that, and I'll let you jump in real fast, is that like I get all the semantics, I get all the numbers, I get all the reasons, like you said. But again, you can't help where he was drafted. He's come back from injury. His first 2 years, I was tweeting a guy yesterday. I mean, the guy had 24 touchdowns over 2 years. Guy had 30, over 3,000 yards all purpose. Like, yes, but he's back now. Do we want to just, rip that Band-Aid off and start over again? Oh, and then rip that quarterback Band-Aid off and rip those wide receivers. Yeah. Like, I just find that, like, I don't think that starting over at the quarterback and the running back position is overly healthy for the team. And I don't know who is necessarily going to be the pick. You said before, you don't, Spartan, you don't want Jones to cost a lot of money.
Well, it's going to be the issue with both of them. It's just going to be one of those things where it's like, look,
so we talked about this, right? This is hilarious. This is playing out exactly how we talked about.
Yeah, so when we were talking about the Chubb deal, remember?
When we were talking about the offseason, I felt like Barkley was going to do exactly what he's doing. No surprises there for me. And me and Craig were like, yeah, F it, pay the guy. And the caveat was what? It's got to be and Bob Barker, right? Price has got to be right, baby. We can't obviously break bank. I don't want any Elliott deals. We've seen what that does.
Right.
If he's willing to meet in the middle, and it's a respectable, and he's earned it, which he is, right? It's an earned deal. If he earns I'm not mad at it. It's fine. Like, you're gonna have space. There's certain players I want you to extend. Extend Andrew Thomas. Don't wait.
They have to. Yeah. They can't miss on Thomas. They have to re-sign him.
Well, they can't miss on McKinney either.
There you go. That was the second guy. Extend Xavier McKinney. There's certain guys you don't necessarily need to. What I'm saying is that ends up helping your cap, right? Even Adoree Jackson, I would not be opposed to extending him. He's had an off game, but you can do worse than
his age and his injury history. But I don't want to get off topic. I understand the guys that need to be
pretty good, but at the end of the day, I would say to help alleviate some of these cap concerns that people have, myself, yourself, and because there's no unlimited money, right? Sure, the cap is made up or whatever, but there's still rules and regulations you got to work within. So make some extensions to help out that cap that are definitely necessary. Andrew Thomas, Xavier McKinney, without hesitation. I wouldn't mind having Julian Love back on a good deal. I wouldn't mind that.
You would.
Right?
You need that.
There's certain players that once you get to your re-signings, we'll see. But again, I'm absolutely unopposed to re-signing Barkley.
Look, the Chubb deal the Chubb deal was perfect.
It's got to be the value.
Sorry, Zane, I didn't mean to step on you. Go ahead.
No, I'm with you. We're on the same page. It's got to be the right. That's all it's going to come down to is the dollar value. To me, it's not a matter of. And there's some people who are like, no matter what it is, get rid of them. You're idiots, by the way. You've never clearly seen a football player. You don't get rid of a guy because you don't like him
and trade him. Like, he's not going to get 3 first-round picks. Like, people think that
Are you watching the guy who's going to be comeback player of the year, leading the lead in all-purpose yards and rushing and yards after contact? Like, come on.
I said, look, I thought like. The Giants won't sign Jones and Barkley. It just doesn't feel that way. So if they had to make a choice, right, I would think it's funny because I think Barkley will be able to call his number and go anywhere he wants. He can go to the Raiders. He can go to the Rams.
He could go to the Jets. He could go wherever.
But he won't go to the Jets. That's the thing. Like his next move will be something that's going to work for the brand. The Barkley brand under the Jets umbrella doesn't work. That's
He's
a
going to Baltimore. He's probably
It
going to
still
go
does, because I think regionally it absolutely does. He's still in the same market. I think that absolutely.
Yeah, I disagree going because it's the Jets and nobody cares about the Jets.
I just feel like at this point in his career, because he's a running back and they don't have very like lengthy careers. He just wants to win at this point. So if we go like 7-10 and he moves on, he's probably going to look at like Los Angeles.
That's what I was saying.
Here's the thing: he's such a loyalist and a purist. I don't think he wants to move on. But if you lowball him, he will move on.
See, now that's so funny, Zane, because I was thinking the same thing about Jones. I think Jones wants to be here. I don't think Jones would go. I think Jones would give them a discount way before Saquon would.
You think so?
It's just me. I think Jones is like this. I get it, Giants fans. I get it, Mr. Mara. I couldn't show you what I could do because I was hurt. Now I'm not hurt. I want to be here. I'm willing to give you money. Saquon's like this.
I don't know if it's that true. If that's that true, though. And remember, players love playing in New York because of the endorsement deals.
Yeah, but if you get technical, they don't love the taxes either. I've heard players talk about that too. So
they're not going to get any lower out in Cali.
But think about a lot of players take pay cuts to play for the Rams, and California's got the worst in the country. Like, you are right. I have heard that a consideration. I tweeted with a player about that, asking, but if depending on his situation and his loyalty to the Giants, he'll make it.
I think they dogged him so hard, Spartan, in the off. All the media dogged Barkley so bad. I think listen, even when he does interviews now,
he's just angry, and I love it. We said this in the offseason. I said the best thing that could have ever happened is Saquon just getting mad and adopting angry Saquon and being a true East Coast, New Jersey type guy, which is just straight up, you know what? F you, bro. I'm gonna go about my business.
Yeah, all right, let's keep flying through. Let's wrap up because I can't believe the time just flew by. Let's talk a little defense.
No, we don't have a hard cutoff, Craig. We could always go on for about 4 hours here.
Yeah, we can, but the folks out in podcast land don't love when the show's too long. By the way, a little housekeeping, guys, nygiantsrush.com, plenty of content up there. We are on Amazon Music. We are on Apple Pods. We are on Google Play. We are on Stitcher. We are on Spotify. Please go there when you're at the gym, in the car, walking the dog, going to your girlfriend's house. Pop on the audio, check out the show, and then let your friends know. We need some support too, guys, because this ain't our full-time job. We just deliver this content because we love to do it. We love to do it for you. But subscribing to the YouTube channel, the Giants guys, and then passing it on. Hey, these guys are fun. Even though we debate, we argue. We're friends here too, right? We're a big fam. We're part of the fam, so we should appreciate all the support you guys can give us. Let's talk some defense. Real quick, guys. The defense has, stepped up in certain areas, like we were within, I know Mark is in the thing in the comments talking to Spartan should be all over me about Tate Crowder. I still don't think Tate Crowder had a great game. He had a much improved game, but I still watched him get pushed around the field on numerous plays. I'm not a Tate Crowder fan, and he's living off, one hit. He's not my guy.
He made some impact plays when we needed it, though. I mean, those two worst plays were very early on, and then he recovered and had probably one of the
every football player conversation is just one word: consistency.
Amen.
What are you doing weekly? So he's had good games. He absolutely had highs. He wouldn't be in the league if he didn't. It's not like we hate the guy, but man, when Tate Crowder's off and inconsistent and bad, it's bad. And
misses the tackles too. The arm tackling's atrocious.
Here, I got to throw this up because it's really funny. Real cold. That's funny. Listen, but the standouts, we don't have Leonard Williams right now, and Dexter Lawrence is crushing it. I mean, the big man's getting after it. His sack dance may need a little help. It's a little shaking in the club. You know what I mean? It's well worth watching because the guy's balling.
8 pressures. He had 8 pressures from the DT spots.
Yeah. Jalen Smith, who we picked up last year, cut him, brought him back again. Had 7 tackles, was still made some nice plays. When you watch him, he definitely knows how to scrape and get off blocks. The biggest issue, guys, that I wanted to bring up just to your attention was I'm so glad finally we got some sacks. with and like and Tibbs is coming around. He had a whole bunch of pressures. He definitely helped make an impact. He got doubled and tripled a couple times. And we're getting stuff from Sexy Dexy. Thank you, Adam.
And Ojulari is leaving where he stands off, right? He gets a pressure, he gets a sack. He's still just like a 1-to-1 guy. It's hilarious.
What about Jahad Ward? Jahad Ward's been great.
Yep. And I wanted to bring this up because no one talked about it all week long. Ojulari drew 2 holding penalties last week versus Dallas. So without those holding penalties, it's a good chance he at least has 1 or 2 sacks right there. So Ojulari's kind of catching fire. Ward, like you said, Spartans played great. I got one thing though I wanted to bring up. What do you guys think about like these turnover ratios? We're not really doing too well, and I'm surprised. I thought it would be more of a ball hawking, fumble recovery kind of a defense. Any thought to we don't have an interception yet, so I was kind of seeing what you guys think.
I'm okay because the so far the
wait, Aziz is out again.
He hurt his calf, right? We don't know. I tweeted this yesterday. It's just him and that calf, man. But I think now it's the other calf. So it's not that he's out. He's just we don't know, but possibly out.
Man.
Possibly out. I don't know if that's facts right there that he's out. I do know he has a calf injury.
All right, continue what you're saying. I didn't mean to cut you off. My man Miz threw up there that Ojulari was out, and I started to cry.
He's saying he's already been declared out on a Tuesday. I'm surprised that he's already out, so it must be pretty bad if that's true. We'll look it up, but in the comments it says he's out. So there you go. Also not great. But from that standpoint, not shocked about the turnovers in any form. Secondary still semi-patchwork coming together. Not worried about it because the only thing I'm concerned about is how great they've been on third down. They've been excellent on third down, and that is the difference. As soon as that metric starts moving, the game will change drastically on defense. But right now, they're doing a good job situationally. They're getting pressure when they need it. The blitzes are actually getting home, where opposed to last year, they weren't. And if they weren't getting home this year, it's short completions, short gains, or none at all, right? They're at least getting in your face. As opposed to, remember last year when the pressure was sent, some people just get blocked up and that just be the end of it.
Yeah, it would get washed out.
Right, and then you would get murdered. But that's obviously very, very different. Again,
right.
The most exciting coach hire for me was Wink Martindale, and it continues to be. And I'm riding with that guy.
So impactful.
Whatever. I'm riding with this guy. He's got these guys playing hard.
I thought this defense was going to be the worst part of the team this year. I thought we were literally going to give up like 400 yards easy every single game.
Well, keep it in check, though. We did play the Bears, and we didn't play any powerhouse teams. It might happen this weekend.
Yeah, but that's true. But and look, when you play these offensive powerhouses, you're right. It's going to be a much more difficult battle for the team. But just seeing how they've been able to shut down some of the best weapons on the offenses, the teams they've been playing, like Henry, some of the receivers, it's been pretty telling with the defense.
Chicago had the best running attack, out there. I mean, that was their jam.
Yeah, and their whole entire success of the past week was strictly just Fields. Again, missed tackles. Aside from that, they were completely locked down.
And to your point, Craig, real quick on the interceptions, I mean, sometimes it's kind of luck though. Like the ball has to kind of be there. And I haven't really seen. I don't remember any. It may have happened. I don't remember any plays where like the ball was in any defender's hands and then they blew it.
Great question here. Since we're talking about the defense, great question. I'll throw it up here from Joe D. Sorry, wrong one.
And that's true for Mark. It is his other calf. I was just referencing that. Him and the calf seem to be an issue, but Mark is correct. It's not the same calf from training camp.
Yes, the other calf. In case anybody doesn't know, out there in Giants land, Landon Collins was in the house.
I would love this move. I would love this.
So one thing that we never talk about, because we went from loving him to hating him so quickly.
Not me. Sorry.
Jason, not me.
Not me. I've been a Landon Collins fan. I will continue to be. I wasn't mad when he left. I've voiced for multiple off seasons. Let's talk to the guy because the other guy's out now. Let's talk to the guy simply because one, he's still relatively young. He's 28, and he's another hybrid type linebacker that Wink like. It just works for the defense.
Yeah,
that's the main thing. It works.
And you got Belton, and you got Love coming back from a concussion. Like it's to me, it feels like they're looking for a box safety because he really, he hasn't really been in coverage since he got into the league.
Yeah, and that's not his thing anyway. He had just one decent year. Remember that 2016 where he was like almost MVP? That was his best overall year.
Yeah, he almost made Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. Outside of that, coverage is not his thing, but I mean, Wink wouldn't put him there. It just allows to free up Dane and Xavier and these other guys if he could be in that box and take that role.
Yeah, in fact, again, and I know I'm killing Crowder, but I think Collins could play linebacker because he's I don't know if he's as big as he was at Washington, but he was about 230 pounds.
Yeah.
Like he could definitely play linebacker because I think Crowder is not much bigger. He might be 238. I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't know what they're going to pay him or how they can find the money to pay him. And I know you guys might right away, you go to Leonard Williams. He's already structured once. I don't know about continue to kick that can down the road.
No, they won't. Leonard Williams, a guy they're probably going to discuss whether or not they want to extend long-term. Big, vital piece. Could be important. Money is obviously not above my pay grade. But I think if Landon Collins, who hasn't played at all, is interested, sees an opportunity, he might take a vet deal. I don't see why he wouldn't.
Maybe they go to Galladay. Maybe they're like, hey, Kenny, you haven't done anything for us. Why don't you take a $72 million pay cut?
Yeah, right. All right, so let's talk about the 3-1 Giants.
I'll one up you. They go to Kenny Galladay and ask to extend him. Be like, hey, you want to sign up?
We will double your salary. You just have to
double your salary.
That's like when everything goes dark on the screen and everybody just leaves.
Fade to black.
Yeah. Fade to black, baby.
I think the defense has overachieved, and when I say overachieved, it was unexpected. But from Wink Martindale's standpoint, I don't believe so at all. He's doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, yep,
Real test on Sunday, right? Now you're talking about your big-time quarterback where you can say, well, we haven't faced. Well, here you go. Sunday will show you something.
We're also I watched a little bit of the tape today. What he calls getting a ton of time. McFadden's getting a ton of playing time now. He's been in on he looks actually pretty decent in coverage, and he's learning the inside game. So the defense is coming along nice. I'd love to get some interceptions.
Lots of rotations happening, lots of fresh bodies, which is making the pressure and the blitzes work. Fresh body comes in, is able to dominate. Where again, we didn't have this before, I would say, or at least utilization. We didn't see Graham rotate as much.
Yep.
Let's talk about Green Bay just for a quick second, then we'll wrap it up. Miz AJ Klein is good. He was a Buffalo guy. They did sign him today. I tweeted that out.
Yep.
He's been in the league.
Man. They are stacking these linebackers.
Yep. They Miz, he's been in the league 9 years. He's had some decent years with the Saints in Buffalo. He's just a real good team guy, easy to coach up, kind of like Mayo was, if you remember Mayo. Never your star, but in a pinch you could put him in and he can make plays for you. Rock, I do like McFadden too. I think Zane and Spartan would agree. They like McFadden. He's kind of like a Blake Martinez light, or maybe part 2, I should say.
Shout out to Blake Martinez real quick. Signed with the Raiders, re-signing with Patrick Graham. Good luck to him.
Yep, no doubt. And just for you Yankee fans out there, Judge is going. Judge has hit his 62nd tonight.
Man. Big time. That's big time. His dollar signs have gone up so high. I'm so curious what his contract's going to look like.
Do either of you guys know if he can play quarterback this weekend? Ask him.
Can Aaron Judge play QB?
I'd be more curious if he can catch the ball because he's a big body, and I'd prefer to see him on the outside a little bit.
Oh man, I don't know. We need QBs right now, but so let's talk about that.
Spot check. Gut.
Spartan going to London to play the Packers. How Rodgers is. He's either on, but even when he's off, he finds a way to pull it out. There's no Devontae Adams there, so he's got some younger guys filling in. What's your thought on playing Green Bay on this neutral turf?
So let me just say this. Backup quarterbacks this year have been surprisingly successful all throughout the NFL. What the Giants are going to have to do to win, on defense, play the way they've been playing. Get to the quarterback, shut down their best players, contain Rodgers to a couple passing touchdowns. If they could do that, they have a good shot here. Offensively, what they're going to have to do, I actually think having a backup quarterback can be an opportunity. What you have to do, though, is come in there with an offensive system that is tweaked to an extent that the Packers cannot prepare for. Teams have done this before in the past where they kind of come out there with a whole new offense. It's a lot of work, a lot of complications, but when they go in there, Green Bay does not know how to defend it when they initially get off. That's how they're going to have to try to succeed out there. If they go in with the same playbook that doesn't really quite work for Davis Webb, it's going to be very challenging for them to try to go out there and beat the Packers. The Packers will be ready, prepared, more talent, more experience.
More importantly, the number 1 rushing team is the New York Giants. The number 7 rushing team is the Green Bay Packers. So all those missed tackles could really, really hurt you. This is not the week for that. You got to stay in your zones. You got to respect your gaps. Hattie, I love Jihad Ward. He might have been the best signing humanly possible because you take him out and, oh, my God, they'd be struggling so badly. He's been amazing. But if we don't tackle, Green Bay's going to hurt you in both respects, and it can get ugly very quickly.
By the way, I'm just going to throw this up here because it's funny. Rock Adam Johnson says, "I want preseason Webb, baby. Let's go."
Preseason Webb is NFL MVP, so I'm with him. I'm with him.
He did have a good preseason. Well, look, overall defense is vastly improved because they're buying into the system, right? And if you noticed last week, we couldn't stop anything running. You know, the Cowboys ran all over us because who was missing?
Leonard Williams.
You all of a sudden, the Leonard Williams hater or the guy who doesn't love Leonard Williams is like, maybe that guy is worth, having here. He makes a difference. He's definitely noticeable when he's not in the game. So I think the defense only gets better when Leonard comes back. I don't know what his status is right now. I don't know if either one of you guys have looked.
He's out for next week.
He's definitely ruled out already on Tuesday.
Hold on.
Did they have practice today? Tuesday's practice day, right?
They practice Tuesdays.
Yeah. So
big test again. Both offense, defense, right? Top running offense. Still have Aaron Rodgers. Top 5 defense. Green Bay game's a big game. It's a big test to see how you measure up. It's gonna be a tough one.
But hey, let me say this. Go ahead, Zane. Sorry, finish.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be a real tough test on both sides, right? You're gonna need a complete game here because even though Green Bay hasn't looked pretty, statistically, they're doing extremely well on both sides.
They're finding ways to win. But let me say this: if they can beat the Packers, we're not even talking about a team that's just kind of shown they can win these games. We're talking about a playoff team. The NFC's kind of having a weak year. Winning this week or winning the week after against the Ravens would be huge for the Giants. Like that means we are kind of at that level. We might even be able to finish with 10 games, get to the playoffs, get a wild card spot, and completely show that we are heading in that right direction.
I really agree with that too, because it's like, we all respect Aaron Rodgers, to the utmost. And if you could find a way to beat Green Bay, you definitely have to hang your hat on the fact if they play 500 the rest of the way, they're an 8-win team. You know what I mean? If you beat Green Bay, now you're playing back to Zane's house money comment. You beat Green Bay, you only need to go 500 the rest of the season to definitely win a wild card and maybe win the division.
And they're gonna beat Baltimore. Just know this. They're gonna beat Baltimore.
Talk to me about that, because I'm dying to know why you think that.
2 reasons. The game plan is the same as Justin Fields, number 1. Number 2, Wink Martindale revenge game? What are we talking about? He's not letting them win. Oh, no. They fired him. They were like, we're going to move on from you. You're not getting it done. The entire Baltimore defense was hurt, and they're like, Wink, you're not cutting it anymore. We're moving on. That's what they said to him. And guess what? Baltimore's choked away 2 wins this year on defense. So I think Wink's going to really bring it for that game. So my confidence strictly is 100% in Wink and nothing else. They're going to win.
Is Lamar healthy?
Huh?
Is Lamar healthy?
Is Justin Fields healthy?
No, Lamar. We're talking about Baltimore.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's amazing.
No, but is he healthy? I thought he –
yeah.
Okay.
I
thought he was a little –
he's not great, then we win.
I thought he was a little nicked up.
No, but you can win even if he's individually great, right? The team can't be great. He can individually be great. He can have 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, and you can win 24-21 is what I'm saying. Like, you can still win.
Like is exactly what happened this past weekend, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Giants win 1 game of the next 2, they're going to the playoffs. If they win 2 of the next games, they're going to the NFC.
I realistically, in just honesty, like I don't think they're going to beat Green Bay. I don't think it happens.
It's a tough one.
I think it's too difficult. The team is just way more complete in Green Bay.
Backup QB too. I mean, let's be real.
It's just the team I think is overall too good is my problem. I think they'll definitely compete. This is a team that constantly competes. I mean, we've seen it. They haven't gotten blown out yet.
They're not losing by more than 2 scores.
I don't think they have enough to be able to combat in the fact that Green Bay has a top 5 defense, a top rushing attack, and still Aaron Rodgers. That's a lot, man.
I think the revenge game for Baltimore goes a long way because Wink knows the players, what their weaknesses are. I know Lamar is a great quarterback, right, and a great athlete, but again, we do know that he struggles, with certain types of teams. I'm assuming Wink's going to dial up some stuff because he knows Lamar. Lamar, he'll throw for 2,000 yards, rush for 1,000. So if you break that up into little small pieces, he's only throwing for 200 yards a game. I'm assuming Wink's going to be paying attention to, what are those small pieces that Lamar is good at.
Yeah, absolutely. Take all those away and force him to
take all those away because Lamar can't beat you 7 different ways like Mahomes can or Allen can.
Correct.
So if you could take away those little nuggets, from Lamar, and all of a sudden he can't run or can't throw, or you've taken away that, that rollout. Like if you take those away, I mean, there's a chance that Baltimore, they can. I think to your point, they got a better shot of beating Baltimore than they do Green Bay.
Yeah, game planning wise, yeah.
Rock and roll. You're listening to nygiantsrush.com. Well, actually, you're listening to the Giants guys, okay, which is our podcast. Check it out, favorite, pass it on to your friends. Make sure you follow these guys. We're kind of lining up something coming up where we're going to do a little watching party. Zane, me, Chris, and Nikki are going to go to an establishment where we can get a burger and watch the Giants, or even a pregame Giants. Yeah,
where's my invite?
You're in Chicago, dude.
It's all right. All the videos chat you in. I'll video chat you.
Oh, if you're like super flexible guy, then yeah, we'll definitely include you. We would never leave you out. We just thought.
What's the date? I actually am home for the entire month of November in Yardley.
Oh.
All right, now we're talking.
Let's just pick a November game then. That's easy.
Yeah, if you can make your way to Jersey, we will pick a date that fits your schedule if that's not even on the radar.
This will be for a Giants game.
Anything, obviously, no, Spartan. This is going to be for a Packers game.
Come on now.
Giants Packers game.
Yeah,
we'll pick a location out. I'll pick Zane up on the way out. We'll meet Chris and Nikki somewhere.
October 30th for the Seahawks. Let's do it.
Can't do it.
November. Okay.
You just said all of November, and you said October 30th. So,
damn.
All right, we'll work on the logistics.
We'll work on that. Thanks for listening. Please
subscribe.
Jump in the comments. Tell us how we suck. Tell us how we're awesome. Tell us how we love Zane's new hat.
I'm bearding it this year.
All of it. We want it all. We really want you guys to help us grow with us. You guys have been great. Definitely let us know if you want us to do some stuff. I think it was great to have Zane finally back. We missed him. And Spartan's a Jones hater, so we can't really do anything about that.
That's right. If you want to disrespect me, you got to like and subscribe first.
That's funny.
Right.
Well, let's do this. Let's end on let's see if I can pull this up. So Zane, while you were out, I'm trying to find it. Oh, here it is. So, guys, I'm going to end the show here. Here at the Giants, guys, we interview Giants legends and media personalities, and I think we do a kick-ass job. And I don't understand how I can't get you guys to check out our kick-ass interviews. I'm not talking about just any interview. So I put this little video together a couple weeks ago to show you who we've interviewed over the last 2 years. Hopefully you'll dip back in, check out an interview, pass it to your friends. Go, go,
serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. Tick, tick, boom.
Woo! I love it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Pass it, share it, subscribe, comment it up. Listen to another episode of the Giants Guys. We're out. Peace.
Peace, guys.